After many months of putting it off and having trouble installing it, it's time to find out if I can go through Modern Warfare Remastered using only a pistol on Veteran mode. Originally, I was looking at my list and didn't really want to do another challenge so soon, but it's been so long since I played a Call of Duty game, and with Modern Warfare 2 coming out at the end of this year, I thought, why not torture myself? The rules are, pistol only. If a weapon outside of a pistol is fired, it will count towards a shot counter, which if it reaches 10, it will count as a death. This will ultimately be the measure of success in this series. Grenades and extras are allowed, but absolutely no grenade launchers. If I'm not lazy, there will also be a fail/reset counter, because I may not always die, but instead get stuck and choose to restart at either a checkpoint or the stage all over again. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I feel like I'm dragging this on. Let's just go to the FNG training. See, this theoretically should have been the easiest mission, just shooting stationary targets, but I ended it with 2 unavoidable deaths. I could have easily restarted and hit all my shots to try and make my shot counter as low as possible, but like I said in the last video, I'm kinda lazy. After already adding to the death counter, I somehow ran a 16.05 in the cargo ship. It's not the best, but I'm absolutely horrible at Call of Duty, so I'm proud of myself. Almost as proud of myself as when I sat there and let the others take care of the problem for me. But first, I need to talk about Captain Price's addiction. We need to help him quit smoking and help him realize it's not good for his health. After barely doing any work up top, the least I could do is kill the drunk guy and the 2 that are trying to sleep. I then kill 2 people who are just trying to take a nice stroll in the rain together, just to kill many others standing in the window, completely forgetting a helicopter comes and murders them all anyways, so I just wasted a bunch of ammo. After throwing grenades and not checking corners, I cautiously peek around the corner, threw another grenade, and somehow killed everyone with just 1. I didn't expect it to work so well, but it did, so it makes me happy. Just like getting the most iconic pistol in any Call of Duty game, the Desert Eagle. But sadly, I didn't even get to use it for very long. I ended up just dumping every bullet into this guy's head after he had died. Why, you may ask? Because I immediately get hit with a gun and forced into the back seat of some guy's BMW. Wait, he's holding an Uzi, but there's a perfectly good 1911 over his head. I'm so disappointed. But at least when I get shot in the head, it's with the Desert Eagle. When he shot me in the head, I must have forgot I'm doing a challenge because I just didn't spawn it with the pistol. I had 2 at the end of Crew Expendable, so where did they go? I know I wasted all the ammo, but I'm sure there was enough time to refill both. It doesn't matter anyway, because I can't even throw a C4 properly, and I end up failing for friendly fire. The first time this counter is going up. Sad. After just throwing explosives and killing everything in my path, I come across my worst enemy, the pot. I think there's a video on the internet of me as a very young child absolutely emptying my gun into the pot. Don't remember why, but yeah, that's on the internet. After grouping up with the Russians, I try my best to throw grenades into this window, but miss them all, so I just pretend to shoot until they die. I really wish I didn't do that because soon after walking through my house from 2016, I have to fight 2 waves of people, which just left me sitting in the house and behind cars and rocks. I did find an M9 on the ground, but then I died. My, first real death. Then 2 seconds later, I get flashed, then 2 shot. 3rd time's the charm, I make it through and find another M9, which obviously didn't help because I died twice to the same 2 people. Once to a guy above in the window, and twice on my way to help Nikolai. We slaughter everyone in the house, get him out, and fly away. Have I mentioned how good the transitions are in this game? Last mission, we end in a helicopter. This one, we start in a helicopter. Like most people, I tried to run past this barricade, but ended up getting stuck behind the guy pulling it, and, well, I knifed him and had to start over anyway. It's not a death, but it's definitely going on the fail counter. While waiting for all the boys to get into position, I decided to do some parkour. I don't know why, but it just seemed fun for some reason. I run down the stairs, and this little side room is so annoying sometimes. In other veteran playthroughs, I've thrown grenades, and it only kills one of the 2 who sit in there. So, just be careful. After pummeling through the basement, I hide behind this plow just to get shot from behind. Like, where are the rest of the people I just passed? Not even 10 seconds later, there was another time where the people I'm with run back, which causes the enemy to run up. Because I pushed ahead with it, I die. I finally cross the street, kill people on the rooftop, didn't get shot going to the rooftop, but then get shot in the back while running up the stairs. These stairs are going to be the bane of my existence. I didn't get shot using them like before, but they ran down the stairs and shot me from the side. I got up on the roof just to run down and forget there was an MG to my right, which immediately ends my life and forces me back to before the roof, with another rooftop death and 1 more down on the floor. After making it through and just running through the enemies instead of fighting them, we get into the server room and I get blasted. And yet again, after running through the server room, I tried the same tactic of just running to the end, which ended badly. But I'm insane, so I tried again and make it through and just wait for my friends to move. Not much else happened, except I ruined many pieces of invaluable art. Almost as invaluable as my life, which was ended 4 times in the first 5 minutes of the mission. I eventually killed everyone just to get shot from I don't know where. Then killed as soon as someone peeks around the corner. And usually when you pick up the javelin and go to shoot these tanks, you're not really shot by the enemy. For some reason, they usually decide to leave you alone, but this time, they decided to shoot me anyway. Luckily, I didn't let off any shots because I still had to shoot 3 more times to absolutely end the career of 3 different tanks. And I'm surprised the entire bridge didn't collapse, because 3 rockets and the explosions of the tanks themselves, I would not want to be anywhere near that bridge. Oh wow, I talk so long, I don't feel the embarrassment of the 3 deaths and 2 fails. And the feeling's back. At least I get to watch a helicopter destroy an entire building. Why does everything start and end with helicopters? We end with a helicopter murdering people, and start with a helicopter falling from the sky, possibly murdering everybody inside. Luckily, we wake up and become the stealthiest people to ever live, until I accidentally murder my own teammate. After our tragic loss, we lose another in the form of an amazing canine companion. I mean, it was trying to rip my throat out, but I still love dogs, so let's honor our fallen dog soldiers with a dog kill counter. And trust me, there will be so many more dogs. After pushing through so many enemies and somehow sneaking through an entire field, I only died once. I decided to move up and push into the next greenhouse just to walk straight into a grenade. I died at this spot 4 times. This playthrough is going downhill really quickly. Now here is our first visit by our good friend Voss. I'll just let him talk.
The definition of insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy. But the first time somebody told me that, I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom, I shot them. The thing is,
I eventually made it through and not only had to add to the death counter, but sadly also the shot counter trying to take out the helicopter, which caused me so much trouble. But luckily, I get my revenge and take to the skies. I did a whole transition just to tell you, I'm not writing about this mission. It's kind of boring, so onto Warpig. Back to the bog we go. Many have died on this bog, including me, 3 times before I made my way down the alley. But what happened to my thumbs? Whenever I'm not trying on newer Call of Duties, I can destroy other people, but as soon as I get into veteran mode, they just cease to function. Now, I have a weird obsession with this building. Looking back now, I understand why I chose to go this route, but at the time, I had no clue if rushing around the back was going to work. 6 deaths later, I made it through, become a garbage man, watch aimbot in action, and run too far forward and have to wait for the rest of my group for the helicopter to land. Again, another amazing transition of me getting in a helicopter just to start the next mission in one. Now, sadly, I will be counting these shots. Even with cheating and shooting the gun, I still died, 4 times? After that embarrassment, we land, and again, we have another visit from Voss.
the thing is, okay, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking...
I don't know why, once I get fixated on a route, I have so much trouble trying to change it. But as this goes on, the deaths become more and more often, so I think it'll be a couple death montages. Anyways, I was also fixated on this building, but 7 deaths later, I make it to the top, take out a couple on the building across, and I decide to jump out, just to get shot by somebody I completely missed. Now the story gets rough. While flying, a good friend of ours gets shot down, but luckily we are able to pick her up and bring her with us, which ended in her demise because we weren't able to outrun the nuke. Has anyone else noticed the MW series is so dark at some points? You know, getting executed, putting people out of their misery while they're on fire, watching our people die while crawling to try and get help after being taken down by a nuke. It's just really dark, and I love it. Oh, also I took hundreds of bullets and somehow lived, so why have I even died? So after being taken down by a nuclear weapon, I throw C4 expecting enemies to come out, like they usually do, just for no one to come. But instead, I go inside of the church and immediately get shot by somebody coming out. Now going into this first safe house, I died twice. You ready to hear how? To the helicopter that I called in. Just let that sink in. Moving into the next safe house, we clear the building as usual, and I pick up the Holy Grail, the number one thing required for this challenge, the M9. So the first two were no problem, but the third caused me an issue because I had trouble just getting to the place. But instead of doing the same thing over and over again, I do the same thing over and over again, but with slight changes. A grenade here, a torn out throat over here, getting stuck on my own team while getting shot, you know, just normal everyday Call of Duty stuff. Not even 5 minutes later, we move on to the next safe house, which has so many enemies for such a small space that I died more times than I'd like to admit. But I made it to the barn and my life was ended because someone was sitting in top of one of the shacks, which I did not expect at all. Then while moving to the final safe house, I died getting there twice, just to get a half blacked out cutscene.
A name!
This mission shows just how bad I really am. I missed my shots, which called in the dogs, and after snapping one's neck, I was murdered in cold blood. And again, and again. Eventually I made it through and found an M9, missed my shots on the guy in the tower, and had to sit behind a tree and kill everybody because I'm lazy. How lazy, you may ask? It's nap time. My nap skills are just so amazing. Everybody passes me and Macmillan completely falls asleep too. Obviously stealth isn't my thing. Hiding behind the plow, I died twice. I try and run past everybody, I died thrice. Try to clear the path, I die once and fail once. Captain Macmillan took so long, I was able to take another nap, and like the cute couple we are, we take one together under these nice warm trucks. I snipe a sniper, leave a dog to eat its food, and we just run through buildings for 5 minutes, so it's kind of boring. I don't really want to count the amount of shots I took, so short montage time. After rappelling down the building and somehow surviving, I run past the buses and we make our way into our forever home. I kill some intruders and somehow blast a helicopter with only my pistol. How are Macmillan's legs not decimated? Like, I know he can't walk, but why are they not gone completely? Actually, while carrying him, I will proudly say I only died 4 times. The same can't be said for the final stand, where even though I was sitting in a safe place, I still died 13 times. This mission took me 1 hour and 25 minutes. Which is probably how long this mission took me too. We don't spawn in with a pistol, so I decided to on the roof. Huh? So I decided to just sit on the roof until they kill everyone. But that just wasn't happening. So instead of wasting lives and tons of ammo, I chose to grab the rocket launchers up here. And it worked to make the mission continue. So I'm sad I had to do it, but I'm happy I didn't lose all my lives, considering I had to use the minigun on the crashed helicopter. I even died twice while on it. Once not trying to shoot, and once when I was actually trying to kill everybody. But I got my revenge by blowing up bombs around the perimeter of this house. This mission is just shot heaven, because now I have to use the javelin to destroy more tanks, and once again, my tactic of doing the same thing, just running down through the enemies, comes in handy, but this means one last visit from Voss.
I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom, I shot him. The thing is, okay, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking.
I even died at the end after making it down, but it's fine. You know what else is fine? These soldiers' fine butts. What is wrong with me? After escaping this terrible smelling landfill, we go back to murdering multiple people and taking their identities.
Change into the enemy uniforms and douse the fires.
I try my best to snipe people with a pistol, but end up being dragged to the ground by a truck that hits my tower. Then we have to chase after the son of the boy who lost his arm. Moving into this parking lot, it took me 8 attempts to get through, all with slightly different tactics this time. So, it's official. I'm just garbage. Just like this guy lying on the ground next to some. Now for some reason there is no checkpoint going into the house, so I died to someone standing in the kitchen window and had to go all the way back to the alleyway. Then I died to the same person twice, just to die to my own helicopter. Well, I catch up to the boyo, watch him commit game end, and of course after that chase, I had to teabag him. Which caused me to be banished to the snow forest and doomed to be murdered over and over. After clearing the houses, I found out you could softlock the game by going too quickly. I tried killing Griggs to end my suffering, but it was still softlocked. So I had to restart the entire mission, where I died in the snowy forest yet again. Next, onto where there are tons of enemies, I just ran through. I'm actually getting pretty good at running through because I only died 3 times. But sadly, moving on to the next area, I died 4 times. To a grenade, to someone on the roof, someone behind a barrel, and someone hiding behind this wall that I didn't see. Sadly, 2 seconds later, I died 6 times. Twice to a doggy tearing at my throat, and 4 times to my own stupidity. But luckily, I hit a checkpoint, and after 3 attempts, I slowly killed everybody and made my way onto the last stand, where I had so much trouble just trying to destroy this tank. But I got it eventually just to die to a cluster of grenades grown right at my feet. Then died more times than I'd like to admit. 13. To this group. But this time, I actually tried new things and eventually got past and made it to yet another open area with tons of enemies. Even with different paths and running slower or faster, I still died so often because I didn't have the range or the cover to take these people out properly. Oh, and I didn't know before that I could have thrown the C4 this entire time. I'm stupid. It's probably all the asbestos I breathed in while climbing through these vents, or the amount of bullets put into my lungs and brain going down these hallways. But of course, my death comes in when there is a large open space with tons of enemies that I forget even exist. I made it through but died at the next section, didn't hit a checkpoint, so I had to go all the way back to before the large hallway. Then I took a break to eat dinner. Coming back, I died again, but luckily this time, I hit a checkpoint and got to throw my all into it, which caused 15 extra deaths. But we made it to the door, which I died as soon as it opens, but using my M9, I forgot to mention, I empty the room and kill everybody, which leaves me in the war room. I blow open the wall, kill everybody, and die in a tiny hallway. This put me back before the war room, so I had to empty it again, which led to my death. This time, I made it all the way to the end and died, so I had to start all over again and died in the war room. It took 5 more attempts to make it through, but I did. To the final stretch, I have to try and shoot moving targets in the back of a truck with a pistol, which just didn't end well. 4 times. I died 4 times before I made it through, and most of the times I died, I'm pretty sure Gaz was yelling at me. I sadly actually tried to take down the Hind, which added to the shot counter, but it's fine, because it's the end. The real final stand. But first, I have to fall off the bridge twice. Getting on the bridge didn't help, because I even died then. Then we got shot with rockets, and sadly had to watch Gaz and Griggs die, which was ruined by laughter when I died twice trying to kill Zakhaev. But now he's dead, and just like that, I beat Modern Warfare Remastered with only a pistol on veteran mode.